companies have consumers here in New Jersey. The pipeline project that we're proposing to date is approximately 100 miles, more like 105 to date, and that can change, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. It is proposed for a 30-inch pipeline. We are still seeing interest from other shippers or potential shippers. So just in the spirit of full disclosure, we could be looking at increasing it from a 30-inch to a 36-inch. But again, this is things we're still working on. It's still very early stages. It is nearly a $1 billion investment, and this is some of the specific information that we had last week. But after working with our counsel, who's more familiar with the tax system or structure here in New Jersey, we were able to determine the tax base or the amount of tax that will be assessed through your local municipality. So for the first 5 years of the project, once it goes into operation, we're looking at $5.2 million going to Delaware Township alone in property taxes. As I mentioned before, we had an open season. That's the very beginning process, and that's a process where we open up the proposed project to different potential users of natural gas, and we say, if we built this project, would you be interested in getting gas, natural gas, or using capacity from this pipeline project? It's a very important step of the process because it tells FERC that there's really a need for more infrastructure. It kind of supports that we're not just building this pipeline for the heck of it. We saw a tremendous response, we had a very successful outcome, and again, because the phone calls are still coming in and people still want to get natural gas to their consumers or to their end users, we're looking at a pipeline project delivering about 1 BCF of gas per day. And just kind of put it in context, because we don't normally talk about BCF. That's enough gas to actually fuel $4.7 billion. Through the construction project, which would probably take about 10 months, we're looking at employing 2,000 family-sustaining jobs. I will say that is temporary. There will be a much smaller amount long-term for monitoring and inspection of the pipeline and any operation of a compressor station. But for that 10-month period plus, we're looking at 2,000 jobs, typically union jobs, the bulk of that, if not all. Now, that doesn't account for all of the indirect jobs, and I will take a moment just to tell you, we've gotten calls from people that are looking for employment. We've had people that call me from that operate local hotels that say we have the best facilities for your workers. So when we talk about the 2,000 jobs, please don't forget that there's a ripple to the other jobs. Hotels, restaurants, and the like. Perfect. Okay, need for new infrastructure. The locally produced abundant supply of affordable natural gas in the northern part of Pennsylvania is clearly needed here in Pennsylvania. We saw that, as I mentioned, in the open season process. Here in New Jersey, what we've heard from talking to our partners over the last 6 months is that the infrastructure build-out has not kept pace with the supply that's needed here in New Jersey. A significant amount of the pipeline capacity that's been signed up for through the open season, again, that will be used by the local distribution companies here in New Jersey. I want to stress, none of this pipeline, none of this natural gas capacity is planned to go to New England states. It's not designed to be exported to Japan or to China. I've heard some of that misinformation being shared. Again, the pipeline project would support New Jersey's Energy Master Plan. Again, we talked about some of the economy, benefits to the economy. Clearly, the need to provide more gas supply, diversity in fuel mix, and also for some of the manufacturers and the electric generating units, this natural gas would be a costly, or a least cost commodity. All right. Proposed route. I want to slow it down a little bit here. What we have is a proposed route. When we first start designing the route, we have to determine, and again, there's a few factors, but where we will be initially receiving the gas, that's your point A. And then at the bottom is, the last point where you would interconnect. Typically, in most cases, it's with a interstate pipeline. But in this case, we're starting up in Luzerne County and terminating over here in Mercer County. In between, there are a number of delivery points, and again, based on that open season. So these are entities, whether it's local distribution companies or electric generating units, that have raised their hand and said, we would like to get gas for our customers or for our units. So you have your point A, you have some requested delivery points along the way. Here in New Jersey there are 4, and then you have our end point in Mercer County. This is where it gets difficult for us to explain. Right now, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but right now we have this proposed route. Since we created this first route, we have gotten information from federal agencies, state agencies, local agencies. I may have talked to some of you here in the room. Some of those agencies have given us advice already how to reroute the project to avoid or minimize impact to certain features. And Bernie will talk more about that list of features. So I have to tell you, I say propose and I mean propose because already we could probably point to where we've gotten certain information and decided this isn't the best location for the route. The process of survey permissions, which is some of you have received letters already from Western Land Services or URS requesting the opportunity to come on your property and to survey. We're looking at, like I said, there's over 50 factors, but we could be looking for archaeological information. We could be looking for certain soils. We could be looking for certain topography. We could be looking at whether or not you have a structure that originally when we did a flyover we didn't see, but since then you've built a barn or rebuilt a structure. The survey process allows us to come on your property and confirm and delineate certain things that would either say this is a good spot for us to consider or it's not a good place for us to consider the proposed route. And that's where we are now. We have started some of the first survey work, and again, as we get this information, and our people are out there every day, as they come back from the field, they share that information with Bernie and other engineers, water biologists, archaeologists, and they start looking at how do you move that line. So I just want to stress that when we say, here's the proposed route, that route is literally changing every day.